Well, guys, let's get into it because I'm already crunching Bobby on time. But Bobby Kerr, I met him through Jake Hinder on one of Jake Hinder's masterminds. He's the Google guy, right? Not only right is he a real estate marketing strategist, speaker, author, founder, but like I'm telling you, I have been in Google jail for years. And this guy, like, we jumped on a quick 15-minute call and we have a strategy, we have a plan, we are going at it. And I am so excited. It was his choice. I always ask my speakers and stuff that are coming on, like, hey, what's your hype music? And he's like, bro, Bon Jovi, Living on a Prayer. He's like, I travel around the world like to follow this and stuff like that. So Bobby Kerr, what's going on, my man?
What's up, guys? Good morning. Hey, thank you so much. Real quick before we get started, can everyone see my screen? Larry, are we good? Okay.
Yep, we are
So
all
there's
good.
Thank you. There's a QR code in the bottom right that's a free resource. If everybody just wants to scan that and download that really quick, it'll be really helpful to kind of cement everything that we're going to talk about today when it comes to Google and AI visibility for real estate professionals. So thanks for the hype music. I love it. I'll kind of preview that in a second of why I chose that. But today, guys, we're going to dig in. So like take notes. This is going to be like life-changing stuff. And I don't say that as hyperbole. This is stuff that it takes to be visible online for real estate pros in 2026 and beyond. So my name is Bobby Kerr with the company Locate My Business. It's a real estate specific Google marketing company, a real estate agency. So we are going to talk about today the new search revolution for Google AI and how it impacts realtors in particular and some mortgage loan officers if we've got some of those folks on here, and why it's important to stay visible and adapt now because every day things are changing. I was telling Larry this morning, I texted him nice and early because I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning to a notification that Google made some major updates when it comes to AI visibility. So I scrambled and added some of that stuff to the slide deck today. So you guys are you're the first to get some of this information. So this is true, like evergreen material. I think everyone's going to appreciate. So if everyone's had a chance to scan, I'm going to keep moving right along, Larry. So
Yes,
why?
and Kelly posted the link inside the chat box in case
Nice.
you're on your phone or something like that. You can click it there as well, guys.
Kelly is on it. So, by the way, if at any point in time, Larry, just jump in, stop me if we've got any particular questions that you want to kind of represent for the group. I think that'll be easiest if you or Kelly kind of navigate those and filter those a little bit. So, real quick, why did we choose Bon Jovi as the hype music? Well, my name is Bobby, and I play in a touring tribute band called Bob Jovi. It's a Bon Jovi tribute band, so that's me playing Bon Jovi that you see on screen. So we have a lot of fun with that. I get to play all over the world when I'm not doing real estate stuff. I am pretending to be John Bon Jovi, and it's a hell of a time. It's a blast. So I thought you might appreciate some graphics to go along with the music. So all right, jumping right in and getting right into why we're all here today. So really quick, some background. What makes me an authority in this space? Well, I am the founder of Locate My Business. I have built a lot of different real estate based businesses, not just real estate sales. And this is kind of what got me into this space and why I'm an expert. So my 5 companies alone that I was either the founder of or a vice president or a COO of, those 5 companies alone have amassed over 2,000 5-star reviews on Google. Plus, of course, all of the other thousands of clients that we've worked with as real estate agents. We've helped them amass, of course, thousands and thousands of Google 5-star reviews as well. I'm a certified Google marketing expert as of 2023, and as of last year, a Google products expert certification straight from Google. These are the industries in which I've been part of that kind of helped me form where we're at today. So, vice president of a large mortgage brokerage, a national brokerage. Started from scratch a home inspection firm in Kansas City that I did the very first home inspection 10 years ago, and that company's doing 3,000 inspections a year now. Of course, Locate My Business, helping real estate agents all across North America, property and casualty and homeowners insurance companies, and then real estate sales as well, running a team in Kansas City. So I've got a lot of experience. The big theme here is everything we're going to talk about in terms of Google Business Profile and how it impacts each of us and how it in turn impacts AI visibility for us as real estate professionals, that is how it all works. It's all one giant ecosystem. And everyone's going to walk away today feeling like you've got a master's degree in all of this stuff. So I'm really excited to share it. So to keep going, we're going to get started with a metaphor. I call this the dark house metaphor. Okay. Not the dark horse, the dark house metaphor. So I want everyone to imagine that you've got this beautiful listing. Okay. This might maybe the most gorgeous home you've ever had, but every showing must happen at night and all of the lights must turn off. Okay. Best house you've ever seen. But the house exists. We know that. Buyers are going to drive by. They might even pull up to the driveway or on the curb. Might be the most gorgeous house you've ever seen. But buyers and other agents cannot see the value of the home. They won't stop. They're not going to come inside because the dark house is not visible. That is our online presence, all right, if a couple of these things are in play. You have a dark house, so to speak, if you have fewer than 50 Google reviews. If your realtor website uses generic templated copy, which is like Bold Trail and Lofty, those are the big ones. All right. If there's no clear value proposition on your website or on your Google business profile, meaning if you don't have a ton of hyper local content, okay, then you're a dark house. And if your Google business profile, of course, is not fully optimized on the back end, then AI and Google cannot see your house. They cannot see your business. So these are the things that we're going to talk about today of how you can quickly impact this. And I think everyone's going to really, really enjoy it. Larry, we doing good so far?
We are good, brother. You keep rolling.
Thank you very much. All right. So we know that there's been a big shift, obviously, in search, right, over the last couple of years. So more and more people are, of course, utilizing ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Claude, Microsoft Copilot, Twitter's Grok, whatever, all for recommendations for businesses, et cetera, and for home services like us instead of traditional Google, Yahoo, Bing search, right? The future is here. Now, before I keep going, I just put this slide in here this morning. This is some updates I want everyone to understand, because as we talk about this big shift, okay, some people push back and they say, well, how does like Google tie into the AI stuff? So it's important that I think everyone understands this brand new data that come out. So ChatGPT has officially confirmed, even though I've been saying it for 3 years, they've publicly now announced and confirmed that it pulls data directly from Google Business Profile for local searches and local queries. Okay, I'm going to keep going down this bullet. I know it's a lot of text, but I want everyone to hear it. Google's AI overviews appears in 40% of local searches, which we know is powered by Gemini, which is powered by Google Business Profile. Incomplete or outdated profiles on Google cause AI tools to hallucinate. So as we talk today about having things complete wherever your business information is, that's why it's so important to have consistency, because the AI literally starts to hallucinate and they don't know what's true and what's false. So AI doesn't just read star ratings on reviews. They are semantically reading the language on reviews. We're going to talk a lot about that later. Google Business Profile services and attributes on your profile. That is how Google Business Profile and AI starts to align your business within consumers. Here's the big one, guys. Yext is a massive player in this game. And they just released some analyses of 6.8 million AI citations. They did a test that they were confirmed that up-to-date Google business data is a key visibility factor across Gemini, ChatGPT, and Perplexity, right? And lastly, Google Business Profiles, a weak Google Business Profile doesn't just hurt your Google rankings. It's basically going to make you invisible online on all AI tools. So I think this kind of sets the tone, Larry, that this is where we're going and the importance. And so if you don't see the value in this, then this probably isn't the best mastermind for you. But if you want to be visible in 2026 and moving forward, pay close attention, because we're going to move fast and talk about a lot. Also, just released this morning, I want everyone to see this data. You can see in the pink, this is Gemini, and you can see in the blue, this is ChatGPT. You see where the trend is going. ChatGPT is losing users every single month because everyone is starting to catch on that it's kind of just it's like a hype man. Like ChatGPT is going to feed you all positivity, but they're not going to give you the best results. Same thing with Gemini in the opposite direction. Gemini is growing much more in depth. Google is investing so much in their AI platform that is quickly becoming way more powerful and popular than ChatGPT. And also, I want everyone to look at the kind of the deep orange. All right, so or excuse me, the yellow. That's Claude. All right, so you can see Claude is slightly gaining steam every single month. That sliver of yellow, and Claude is, I'm using Claude pretty much for everything now that's truly technical. It's not touchy feely. It is meant for like major players that want to have great like digital marketing stuff, SEO, AEO. If you need detailed documents, SOPs made for your team, Claude is the way to go. But I think this is important to see where the AI game is going for everyone. So continuing on that trend, here's what we know and where we've been. So in January 2024, barely 2 years ago, AI search was barely 1% of all internet search usage. Okay, pretty small because it was brand new and people didn't know how to use it. Well, in summer of 2024, so barely 6 months later, it had jumped and more than doubled to 2.5% of internet traffic was now using mostly ChatGPT at that time. As of this past December, so just a couple of months ago, AI search in place of traditional search has now risen to almost 7%. Some of you might be saying, well, Bobby, like 7%? That doesn't seem like a lot. But when you look at where they started, where it all started 2.5 years ago, that's a 438% jump. Okay, only in 2 years. So imagine where we're going. So if your Google business profile is not completely built out, if you don't have a bunch of great reviews, if it's not fully optimized, then already those tools are recommending your competition. Okay, so that's why this stuff is going to be so valuable today. Here's some projections of where we're going, Larry, over the next 10 years. All right, so we know 2025, we were at 6% usage for AI tools. Look at 2027. We're projected to be 25% of all internet search usage is going to be AI tools. Let's just jump to 2035. 85% if we trend in the same direction, which I don't think AI is slowing down, guys. So this is where we need to be. We need to make sure we are visible on AI search. And the only way to do that is to have a strong foundation on the world's most important and most busy website, and that is Google. And for us as business owners, it's Google Business Profile. All right. So if you don't do that, you're going to be this guy. You're going to be a ghost. And I think everyone is here to serve people, build relationships, sell homes, and make some money, right? And the only way to do that is if we pay attention to this stuff. So we don't want to be a ghost like this guy. I'm also a former middle school teacher, public school, middle school teacher. So I like to start with the objectives for the day. I want everyone to know some important terms, some vocabulary before we jump in, because you're going to hear these words throughout the process. So number one, AEO. Answer engine optimization. I'm sure some of us have heard of SEO over the last 20 years. Well, now AEO is what's coming to the forefront. So what does that mean? When someone asks an AI tool a question, is it going to confidently name you, right? So why does it matter? Well, Google Business Profile services, Google Business Profile products, posts, and photos is how we can start to influence Google's tools and other AI tools answer engine optimization. So we'll talk more about that too. We want to be the business that AI is recommending when someone's looking for our types of services. Next, we're going to talk about NAP, the NAP as Google calls it, name, address, phone, plus website. What does it mean? We want to make sure that your NAP is official. Your name, address, phone, website. We want to make sure that it's consistent across the web. Okay, so search engines kind of make sure that all of your information is accurate. So if Joseph, who spoke earlier, if Joseph's website is josephlimo.com on Google Business Profile, but then on Zillow, it links to josephlimorealestate.com, then the two don't speak the same language. So the AI tools start to hallucinate and they don't know which one to recommend. So therefore, they just back out and they say, we're not going to recommend either one. So having consistent NAP plus website is going to be really, really important. Some other important terms, citations. All right. Citations is just a fancy word to say your business listing on other websites. So I got some on the left side here. We see a Facebook icon, Google Business, Zillow, Realtor.com, Yelp, Bing, Better Business Bureau. These are all citations. So we want to make sure it's consistent across the board. Your NAP is the same on all those different websites. Otherwise, they're going to hallucinate and they don't know which one to recommend. So, from where do AI tools pull data? We know it's automatically they're pulling data from Google Business Profile. It's number one, but some other important places to be and understand so that we can be found by Google, of course, is Google Business Profile, Microsoft Copilot, Bing, Apple Business Connect, your website, real estate specific tools like House, Realtor.com, Homes.com. Here's the new ones. And I just added these again this morning because, of course, I keep my thumb on the pulse of everything every single day so that you guys don't have to. But these two new ones are popping up on AI search tools as primary sources all the time. And it's Homelight and Fast Expert. So I want everyone to write those down. If you don't have a free profile on those already, go get them today because AI search tools are pulling straight from those databases. Whatever they're doing is working, and we got to make sure that we are in those places. So Homelight and Fast Expert, you should be able to get a free profile with both of those. So as a holistic view, we know that Google Business Profile and a weighted scale is the number one source of how these AI tools are pulling data. So that's about 45% of the weighted data is Google Business Profile. Number two is your review strength, not only on Google, but everywhere. And we're going to talk a lot about reviews in a second. Number three, most important, is the recency of all of the activity that you have on Google, on your website, and on those other citations. And lastly, website strength. A lot of people think website strength is at the top, right? Because it really was for about 20 years, but things have completely changed. What I want everyone to think about is like, if you've got a job interview, like what comes first, the job interview or like presenting your resume in person at the job interview? It's the job interview. So our Google Business Profile today is the job interview, and then your website is the resume. And so that's kind of why it's inverted now. Google Business Profile is the most important, and the website is kind of down at the bottom. We know GBP, as we call it, is still king, but how do we help our Google Business Profile? This isn't just a Google Business Profile presentation, but it's such an important key to AI visibility that I want everyone to know how to make your business profile better. And there's lots of tools on the business profile that we can use. We can post to it, just like if it was a Facebook or Instagram profile. We can add, of course, we get reviews, get them consistently. We can add products. We can add services. By doing all of these things and using all of the Google tools, Google will start to reward our business by showing us in search results. But Google alone, as we know, is not enough. Okay, we can't just be there. We've got to be other places. But since Google is the most important, I want to talk about Google reviews because some people think, and Larry, you might be able to attest to it, you've done really good. You've amassed a lot of reviews, but not all reviews are created equal. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit of why it's so important to start coaching our clients on the types of things that they add to their reviews when they're leaving us a 5-star review. So number one, fresh reviews are way more valuable than old reviews. So if you've got a profile with 100 Google 5-star reviews, but you haven't had a recent review in 3 months, Google is actually, and I don't mean this again like hyperbolic, Google is starting to look at your business as if it's dying. It's anemic in their eyes. So recency on your profile, especially with reviews, is such a massive ranking factor. And so we've got to be super consistent. I'll talk more about it in a minute, but here's an example of what a great review looks like, okay? Felicia is a local pro. Clear communication throughout the process and care in every detail. I was nervous being in out of state selling my property in Grain Valley, Missouri, but Felicia made it painless. Only use Felicia Davis if you want the best sale price, recommendations on schools, parks, things to do in the Grain Valley area. Felicia will take care of you when buying or selling a home. Okay. Now, wouldn't we all want a review like that as opposed to just 5 stars? Absolutely, we would. So we've got to start asking our clients to be detailed. Okay. And I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to make a 5-star review the most valuable in just a second. But you can see, right? They mention her name. They mention a geographical location. They mention real estate specific terms. They say that she's the best or the local pro, right? There's only one thing missing from this that would make it like perfect. And I'm going to say that on the next slide. But we can get these kinds of reviews on Google, which is the most important, but also those other citations we can get reviews on too. And in fact, when we get reviews on multiple platforms, Google and the AI tools start to value us as better business owners. They have more trust in us. In fact, Google actually calls it trust signals. So when we have this type of material and content on our profiles, they literally trust us more and will recommend us in more search results. So we see some of these citations on the left. Of course, the big ones: Facebook, Google, Zillow, Bing, Yelp, Realtor.com, Better Business Bureau. I told you about Fast Expert and HomeLight. And these other two, you might be laughing to yourself. You're looking at it and you're saying, isn't that the Yellow Pages logo and the MapQuest logo? Like, Bobby, this is 2026, not 1997, right? Here's the thing. Think about how long Yellow Pages and MapQuest was a business and how long ago it was. Who do you think has amassed the largest database of business information, address, names, phone numbers over the last 30 years? It's those companies. So they may not be forward facing now and we don't use them on a daily basis, but they are storers of data. And so having your business data on their platforms is very important because they are very, very valued on the back end. So like when some of these platforms that power like Uber drivers and Google Maps, Apple Maps, they're actually powered by data that's been provided by Yellow Pages and MapQuest. So all of us can go on there and create profiles, but here's the kicker. They're not free. They know how valuable it is to create a Yellow Pages citation now, and so they charge us every month. Same thing with MapQuest. So if you have the discretionary marketing income to get these type of citations for your business, it's worth it because Google and AI search tools are pulling data from these places all the time. I bet maybe one person in this group might have known that MapQuest and Yellow Pages is happening today in 2026. So hopefully that's really, really valuable to you guys.
Hey,
So
Bobby, any idea what's the monthly fee for Yellow Pages and MapQuest?
I think it's like $15 a month. Last time I checked, I think it's pretty close to that, 10 or $15 a month. Which I all the time I get people that text me like Yellow Pages wants money or MapQuest wants $15 a month. And it's, yeah, they know their value, right? So we all know our value and we can charge for it.
Yeah.
So we talked about fresh reviews, right? And this is a perfect example. I want everyone to aim for 3 to 5 new reviews every single month. And some of you might be asking, well, Bobby, like I'm not, you might be saying, I think it was it B or Bea Schuster?
Okay. Yeah.
Bea this morning said that she's got like 27 closings in the last 24 hours. Like phenomenal, right? Well, she can get 3 to 5 reviews pretty quick for this month. Maybe not all of us have 3 to 5 closings every single month. So in that case, you can still get 3 to 5 reviews. I like to call them character reviews. So ask people within your sphere, your past database, or just maybe co-oping agents, like, hey, you know, Larry, you know how professional I am. You know how ethical I am. And you know I know my stuff when it comes to real estate. Would you mind leaving me a Google 5-star character review to tell the rest of the world how awesome I am? There's nothing wrong with that. So for those of us that don't have 3 to 5 closings a month or more than that, ask for a character review from somebody who knows how you do business. These AI tools, they're prioritizing freshness. Okay. So one review you got last week is more valuable than 10 reviews you got 3 years ago. Okay. So don't get like realtors more than anybody else. And all I do is work with real estate agents on this stuff. But I know every other industry, like realtors are the worst at getting complacent when it comes to getting reviews. And I know I'm generalizing because it is most of them. Realtors get to like 50 or 100 reviews and they're like, all right, I made it. I'm looking good now. I got social proof. But here's the thing. Google doesn't care about what you've done in the past. They want to know, what are you doing lately? So recency is a huge ranking factor. So here is the holy grail of a Google 5-star review. All right. Number one, and take a picture of this, remember it, memorize it, build your campaigns around it. Number one, somebody leaving you actual 5-star rating. Okay. That's layer one. But here's the thing. If they just do that, Google starts to look at your profile as maybe spam or fraudulent because anybody could leave you a 5-star review. How does Google know that that's a real client or a real human being. We need some other semantic factors to play here. So that's what the rest of these things are. So number one, a 5-star rating. Number two, they mention you in the review by name. Okay, that's the second most powerful thing that they can do in their review. Number three, mentioning the geographical location where you served them. I'm talking city, state, neighborhood, subdivision, street name. Okay. If they do all of that, it's phenomenal. If they only do a few of that, it's still really, really, really good. Okay. And why you might be asking, like, Bobby, that sounds ridiculous. Why am I going to ask somebody to mention their street name or their subdivision on a review? It's because everything driving Google Business Profile and all these other AI search tools is Google Maps. Google Maps is the umbrella parent of Google Business Profile. So we've got to tell Google Business Profile, which is telling Google Maps, which is then telling all the other AI tools that we are the best in our geographical location. So everything needs to be hyper local content. Everything we're putting on our website, everything we're putting on our Google Business Profile, every review we get has got to be so hyper local that Google starts to think, why would I recommend anybody else in this neighborhood, in this city, in this, in this town? Because this person is obviously the expert. Okay. Number 4 layer is some hot keywords that talk about your significance. So saying things like, you're the local pro, you're the best agent, you're the local expert in Dallas, Texas, wherever it is that you are. Okay. So we've got to have some of those keywords. And lastly, if you're the type of rock star agent that actually still goes to closings with your clients, have them leave that review when they're the happiest. Have them leave that review sitting at the closing table and take a picture, a selfie with you when they're there and add it to the review. If you get this to happen on the majority of your reviews, Google is going to start to pick up and say, like, holy cow, like, look at what Kim Walker's doing over here. She's now with EXP, like, she's kicking butt. And look at all these reviews. And she's got pictures with her clients. There's no way this is spam. We want to start recommending her and her team because of how powerful and how recent her reviews are. I hope this is helpful, guys. This is how you win on Google and how you win on AI search in 2026. This is it. I promise you, like, your competitors are not doing this. Okay. The only reason they're doing what, Larry?
Oh, I was going to say a couple of questions coming through here.
Okay.
What do you do when your business is all over the place? Kelly Jones wants to know.
What does that mean, all over the place?
Well, like
So,
we're
go ahead,
sorry.
Kelly.
Sorry. Well, like Jeff we're pretty big REO brokers, so we are over 3 counties.
Okay.
So
Oh, yeah.
because I'd love to be hyper local, I'm not, right? So how do you become hyper local in your community when your business is all over the place?
Yeah, it's a great question. So, like, I live in Southwest Florida, but I have spent the majority of my life in Kansas City, Missouri. And Kansas City is Kansas City, Kansas, Kansas City, Missouri, like huge metro, million people within 30 minutes of each other. So there's a couple ways to skin this cat. Number one is the easiest way is to have multiple Google business profiles. Okay. But Google gets pretty stringent upon that, and they'll suspend maybe some of them or all of them if they think it's a duplicate. So you actually literally would have to have like physical locations sometimes to do that trick. Not knowing, state real estate laws about offices and buildings. A lot of agents use a house. Like if they've got a significant team leader and they say, okay, your house is going to be our address on Google. You could have that house be one of those Google business profile addresses. You could have your main office be this one, and then maybe a service area business as the other one. So you don't list an address, you only list some cities and counties that you serve. So there's some ways to kind of hack that. But the other way, Kelly, like if you don't want to risk that, you just have one, but then you basically Google Business Profile has Google services built into the back end of your profile. And you want all of those services to be custom services that start to target very, very specific neighborhoods, cities, counties. And that's how Google starts to listen to your profile is through having AEO enriched services, products, posts, photos on your Google profile. I hope that makes sense. Cool. Larry, anything else on reviews?
Yeah, and then Kim actually asked, what happens when you lose a Google review mysteriously? What's going
Yeah,
on with
great question. Unfortunately, this is very common. It has happened to me 5 or 6 times over the last 5 years. It's just now part of like I know it's going to happen, so I account for it. It's very unfortunate. One time, one of my businesses lost 50 reviews overnight. That's soul sucking. It sucks.
it? Yes.
So there's a couple of different things. No one, like no human being is doing that. There's no human at Google that's going through and removing them. Google obviously is all built on AI. It is scrubbing the millions and millions of Google business profiles in real time all the time. And it seems like and they do this in like chunks. So like it just happened like 3 or 4 weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, where I started getting calls like, "Hey, I lost 17 reviews. I lost 5 reviews from all the business profiles that we help manage." Excuse me. And I lost some too. There is a way to try to recover them. So what I always recommend is that you keep, whether you're like, it's an archaic way of doing it, you keep a spreadsheet of every time you get a Google review, you put in a spreadsheet like Kelly Jones left me a 5-star review. These are the words she left me on this date. And you do that every time you get a Google review. So you've always got this backup, because there is a secret link that some of us have that you can send a message to Google support that says, "Hey, I am missing reviews." And then the first question they're going to ask you is, "Who are you missing reviews from?" And if you say, "I don't know, I'm just missing reviews," they're not going to reinstate any of them. So yes, it happens. It happens overnight a lot of times, and it is mysterious. And the only way to do this is like literally is file an appeal to Google support. And you're going to have to say, these are the people they're missing from, so they can cross-reference it with the back end of their system.
And just a personal question that I have here. So if you're asking for a review, like it makes sense to me that I like if I'm reaching out, I'm like, Bobby, I would love a 5-star review for you. Like if you're feel inclined to do this, could you mention my name,
Yep.
where we did business, right? Maybe some keywords of the thing. Like, guys, just list this stuff out. If you know what Google is looking for, ask for these things specifically. They're already writing a review. It's going to take them 2 more seconds to think about it a little bit more. Would you agree, Bobby, or any other
100%.
suggestions on that?
That's what we do. So like if I'm helping Michael Gable, and I've optimized his Google profile, and now he wants me to like help him on a monthly basis or something, or even if it's just once, and he hires me and he's like, "Bobby, I need to up my reviews. Can you help me with a review campaign?" That's the exact verbiage that we say. And usually, everyone write this down. Like this is my personal secret sauce, but it's not rocket science. When a real estate agent goes back to their clients and they say the words, "I need your help. Can you help me? I'm on a mission to get to 50 Google 5-star reviews in the next 60 days. Can you help me?" Your past clients are going to bend over backwards because you helped them so much. And this is like the first time you've ever asked anything of them. So that verbiage tends to be, that's like sales psychology stuff. When you
Yeah.
literally say the words, "Can you help me?" it's very difficult for someone to ignore you. So 100%. Coach them a little bit. Don't tell them like what to say exactly, but just say, "Hey, it helps me tremendously if you say my name, your city and state or neighborhood, that I'm the local expert. And if you got a picture of us, even better." So
And so,
100%.
so I think that answers Jeff's question. He was like, "Can you just write it for them and have them cut it and paste it?"
I wouldn't recommend that. To me, it just feels icky. Like it doesn't pass
Okay.
my sniff test. I wouldn't do it myself. So I mean, you can do whatever you want, Jeff, but that might blur the lines a little bit.
Nope, Kelly just vetoed it. I can hear their conversation already. Like, no, Jeff, we're not doing that. Bobby said no.
Yeah. All right.
And then Luis says, if you have multiple locations or multiple business profiles, can you combine the reviews from all of them, or do they all have to be separate?
No, I mean, if you've got multiple reviews or multiple platforms, it's kind of rare, to be honest, especially if you're in one city. If you're in multiple markets and you've got multiple business profiles, that's what you want. But the thing is, like, if you've got multiple out there, I wouldn't try to do anything with combining them because you're going to have to let Google in on the no at some point, and they might just suspend all your profiles because you're essentially breaking their rules and their policies by having multiple profiles when you shouldn't have. So if it's multiple locations and multiple markets, you're doing great. That's what you want. But I wouldn't try to do anything with combining them. I have seen it happen once, but I've seen it go the opposite direction and be a bad result more than I've seen it be good. Larry, I know we're kind of rushed.
Yes.
I'm going to rush through a couple more and I'm going to probably skip a few more. So I do want to talk really briefly about websites. Okay. If like EXP, we're all using, probably Bold Trail, or a lot of us are using Bold Trail for our websites. I just want to inform everybody a little bit. I got the guy behind the 8 ball, right? So out of the box, Bold Trail websites suck. There's no way around it. They look good. They're meant to satisfy big shops like EXP. They're meant to satisfy brokers because they're super compliant. They're super sexy. They pull in MLS listings really, really well. Okay. But they suck at creating local authority and helping. I literally had a meeting with the VP of Inside Real Estate who owns Bold Trail on Wednesday. Okay. They want me to speak at some of their events. And I had a meeting with him and I had this conversation. He goes, yeah, they're not meant to do that. They're not going to help anybody rank. They know it, but they're not there to help you rank. So it's kind of on us to edit our own websites to create some local authority. Okay. So I'm going to move pretty quickly, but here, look at this first bullet. Okay. So all of these Bold Trail realtor sites, they are essentially the same. There's 600,000 Bold Trail users. So if everyone's Bold Trail is essentially the same, except for you, you might think that it's different. Yours is different because you've got your name, your logo, your address, your phone number on it. But on the back end of those Bold Trail websites, they're all the same. There is no ranking data specific to you. There's no geographic data unless you've gone in and edited it yourself or had a professional do it. So there's basically, it's 600,000 different mirrors that are looking at each other that Google's looking at. So it doesn't really help. So here's the solution. Okay. You can add local content to your site. Everyone can go into Bold Trail and edit your website. You can add custom pages. You can add local pages, like have 20 pages that are all about local cities or neighborhoods. All of a sudden your website has a ton of local authority, right? Adding blogs. That's really easy to do in Bold Trail. You can add a blog, make it about a specific neighborhood, a new bar, a new restaurant that opens up in your town. Like, that's a great way to create this local authority. All right. So I just wanted to briefly let everyone know, if you think your website is like doing all the work for you, it's just a placeholder for listings. And it's the second step in the process, usually in today's day and age, of how consumers are getting to you. So it is important. These are the ways to make it better. Okay. So local stuff. I'm going to take a TV time out here. Local, speaking of, I just added this one this morning. Google Business Profile, you get to add photos, right? Think of it like a social media platform. You can add photos, and I will tell you, I don't have the stat, but profiles with over 100 photos on their profile get something like 1,000% more activity than people with fewer than 100 photos. Okay. And you can add videos as well. So if your profile right now has like your logo and your headshot, you better start adding some photos. But here's the type of photos that are being rewarded on Google Profile today. Okay. It's number one. Here's what I do. And here's what I recommend to everybody else, especially if you're concentrating on a local market. Pick one day a month with you and your team and go out and take a bunch of selfies in front of local landmarks. Okay. And I'll explain why. Take pictures in front of you and your team in front of local sports stadiums, parks, schools. Don't be creepy about it. Subdivision entrances, street signs, like famous street signs that are really famous in your town, water towers, restaurants, local businesses. When you do this, okay, I highlighted this. Maybe some of us have heard this term, geotagging. 10 years ago, it was a fad that whenever you added photos, you could literally go in and change the data of your photos and add latitude and longitude coordinates. And everyone thought that that was sending signals to Google like, oh, they're gonna start showing my profile more in this town because all of my photos are geotagged. Well, that's pretty much been debunked now. The modern day geotag, since everything is so AI driven and Google's images and Google is so smart, and other AI tools are just pulling from Google. The modern day geotag that is working is you taking photographs in your local market with you in the photograph while also having something branded in the photograph. Okay. So with me, any photos I'm taking, I've got a hat, I've got a t-shirt, or I've got a name badge on that says locate and Bobby Kerr. If you don't have any of those things, no problem. Take a business card and take all of your pictures. And I know you're gonna feel weird doing it, but hold your business card in your photograph. I promise you, it's going to value your Google business profile more than your competitors. Also, and I'm not getting into it on this workshop, but like when you post and do anything on your Google business profile, don't make everything salesy or billboard. This is not Facebook in the year 2007. Okay. Google wants to know that you're a local expert. That doesn't just mean real estate. Okay. I'm going to say that for the people in the back again. Google doesn't want to know that you're a real estate only expert. They want to know that you're a local expert on all things. So like when people hire us to build out badass Google business profiles, it's about not only Google real estate, but it's about commute times. Because what are people thinking about when they move within a city? What's my new commute to work? What's my commute to get my kids to and from school from this city to this city? What are the local restaurants that I would recommend? So it's important to have this holistic view of what it takes to be visible online in 2026, especially with Google. And it's not all about saying, I'm the best. I had, 6 closings today. If you just do that repeatedly, Google basically says, oh, this is getting worn out. Like all they know about is real estate. Therefore, they're not a local expert. So I know that's kind of a hard thing to wrap our head around as real estate professionals, but that's what we've got to do to condition Google and the AI to start answering those AEO questions on our behalf. All right. So I'm going to keep moving here. Also, anything that we're posting, guys, last slide here before we wrap it up, it needs to be 7th grade reading level. Okay. That is what the AI wants. 7th grade reading level. Keep it all super simple. Not a bunch of industry jargon. I know it makes us feel cool because all real estate professionals have big egos. AI and other people don't care. Okay, it needs to be 7th grade reading level. They're not looking for the most sophisticated. They're looking for the most helpful. Okay, so 7th grade reading level, first person. Okay, this is new. For the last 10 years, everything's been third person. Like shove your first and last name on everything. It's changing now. It may be like the first sentence of your business description could be third person, but then they want everything else to be first person because the AI, and this is oxymoronic. The AI wants to know it's recommending a human business. So the AI is judging us on whether or not we are AI. Okay? So we need to show that we're the local experts. So by saying I and we is going to be really important moving forward. Okay, so we know the weighted scale, Google Business Profile, most important for AI visibility, reviews. We talked about all the important stuff in reviews, the recency and accuracy of our citations, and then a little bit about our website strength. Big takeaway. Take a picture of this one, guys. This is like your search revolution action plan. All right, first and foremost, I call it locking in your GPS satellites, right? That's all your different citations that are floating around. We want to make sure that the name, address, phone, website is consistent across all of those. Number 2, AI Gold, getting frequent 5-star reviews with all of the things that we talked about. Number 3, adding a ton of local content to your website and Google Business Profile consistently all the time. You cannot just set it and forget it. We've got to love our profile. Number 4, establishing some other authority. Get on some podcasts. Like you get on someone else's podcast, they're going to do all the legwork. They're going to advertise you, right? You have a ton of local people in your market that are doing podcasts just about local things. Like get on their podcast, do whatever you can. They're going to advertise you for free. Number 5, we want everything to be conversational to match up with that AEO, right? When Google is recommending something at the top of a search, they're literally pulling from all these different things to answer people's questions before they even ask them. So we want everything to be conversational. Don't flatline. Okay. You've got to stay consistent whenever we're adding things to our profiles. And lastly, local, local, local. Okay. All local authoritative content, neighborhood guides, the photos and local spots that we talked about, FAQs on your website. These are the easiest ways to make sure that Google starts to recommend us. So before we get into I'll stick around for Q&A as long as anybody wants to stick around, Larry. Of course, guys, we do this at Locate for real estate professionals. So if you're thinking about all this and you're like, Bobby, this is great, but like I got to focus on relationships and selling, 7 houses this week, like Bea. Okay. Then let's have a conversation and let us figure out how to do this best for you. This is all we do. All we do is work with real estate agents on how to optimize their Google business profile for better Google and AI visibility. We do it all. So let's have a conversation. Saying that, QR code on the right is how to schedule 30 free minutes with me I'll take a look at your profile and say like, hey, it's doing great. Or, hey, there's probably some room for improvement here, some opportunities. So jump on my calendar, scan the code on the right. And if you could, please, I wouldn't be a very good Google guy if I didn't ask you for a Google review today on helping you guys be masterful when it comes to your profiles moving forward. And of course, if you can please use some keywords like my business name, Locate, LOC8. If you want to use my name, Bobby Kerr, but say things like realtor Google business marketing or real estate agent marketing, Google business for realtors, things like that are super helpful. And hopefully you're kind of cementing what you're going to start asking of your clients when you leave me a review. So a lot of opportunity here to get better, guys. This is what we do. I literally dream about Google Business Profile because it's what I'm doing all day, every day, is helping rock star realtors like you. So Larry, thank you for the time, man. I hope this was very, very valuable.
And the comments alone are telling me that it was worth it to a lot of different people. Guys, I booked time with Bobby. And again, we're on the path to kind of getting me out of Google jail at this point in time, which is super important. Kelly's also posted his free checklist and stuff as well. That's in there. And I think we got through most of the questions. Are there any questions that we didn't miss while we got a few minutes and stuff to come back to? But man, people are raving and stuff here. So you are absolute fire, Bobby. I appreciate you so much for jumping on here this morning.
Yeah, my pleasure. I woke up fired up this morning with Google announced some new stuff. I was like, oh, these people are going to love this. This is great. And I know, obviously, like I'm a nerd. I get excited about Google Business Profile. You're thinking like, what the hell who is this guy, Larry? But that's my gig, right? My job is to make Amanda Barber more visible on Google, right? So she can focus on selling houses. My job is to help Mike Schmansky kick ass on Google and be found on AI so that he can focus on building relationships with community members. Like you don't need to be a digital marketing specialist to make this win for you. Let's just have a conversation and I'll let you know how it goes. It's not rocket science. Like everything else in our business and in our world, it's consistency. We've just got to do these little things consistently and build them into our systems. And then like the review stuff, like everyone should be knocking it out of the park with reviews. Like build it into a campaign. The second you mark that client closed, they should be getting a series of 6 review requests over the next week. And by the way, this is just a little tidbit. If you're not asking your clients for reviews multiple times, you're never going to get a lot of reviews. Because think about the review psychology is that people are very, very quick to leave a negative review, right? Something goes wrong at a restaurant. By God, the first thing you think of is I'm going to leave this place a nasty gram, right?
Yeah.
But if you got a great server, is the first thing you think of, I'm going to leave this place a great 5-star review so that hopefully that server gets a nice little bump. Like, no, people don't naturally do that. So we've got to really pull positive reviews out of our people. So what I used to do with all my companies is the second we marked them closed, then they would get an email and a text request for a Google 5-star review. 2 days later, they would get another email and a text. And then 3 days after that, they would get one more text request. And I know some of you might be saying, Bobby, like 5, 6 requests, like my people are going to hate me. I've done this for so long and it's such a great success rate. I promise you, I have never had one person ever come back to me and say, Bobby, shut up. Stop asking me for a review. This is what it takes to win on Google in 2026. And for those of you that still say there's no way I'm going to ask my people for 5 requests for a review, then you're probably a person who's not going to have very many Google reviews.
Guys, we've been doing this, I mean, literally since, 2009, 2010, when my team was doing 300 plus deals a year. We had a schedule that my admin would send out after we got through the inspection period. Hey, congratulations, right? Like we made it through this milestone. Like, could you do me a favor? Boom, right? Like, and then after we got through the appraisal, hey, oh my gosh, it came in at appraisal, or it didn't come in at appraisal and we renegotiated the contract for a better deal for our buyers. Could you do me a favor, right? And then at the closing and stuff as well. So this is not a new trick. It's just updated, right? And now you have more places to be able to post it. You can get more visibility and stuff out of that as well.
Yeah. The only thing, like the caveat to that is if something goes sideways between the inspection period and closing, like who do they usually blame? Right.
Oh, so look, we only did it on the good ones, right? Like we didn't get it with like if a shitty inspection came in, we didn't say, hey, could you tell us about this experience, right? Like we were strategic on when we did that. So yes, it's not carte blanche, like, hey, we're going to do this for everybody every single time or anything like that. You might not even like some of your clients and you know that they're not going to like use your best judgment, follow your gut feeling on this. But on those smooth transactions, when you accomplish those milestones, when you get them to the next level and stuff like that, highlight those experiences and stuff with it.
Here's what we had the most success with on top of the review campaigns. So if you're the person that goes to closings, right? Like show of hands, anybody still go to closings and meet clients at some point? Okay. So I'm sure this is not a good example because it's a coaster, but it's about the same size as what I'm going to recommend. We've all probably seen, like you can get like these acrylic squares, like clear plastic that looks like glass. Okay. You can go to like Vistaprint or Custom Ink or whatever. Get a custom acrylic glass block and have a QR code printed on it that goes to your Google Business Profile review link. And bring it to your closings and set it on the table. And after they've signed and they're at the happiest they've ever been with you, have them scan that code, have a piece of paper that says, hey, please mention these things. They'll scan it right with you sitting right there. And then you say, let's take a picture. So when they're the happiest, you're collecting the review. They're listing all the things you want them to list. They're adding a photograph. And now you're walking away. You don't even have to worry about a 5 or 6 step review campaign because you took care of it when they're the happiest. Because I promise you, as soon as they walk out that door, the last thing that they're thinking about is leaving you a 5-star review. They're thinking about unpacking. They're thinking about moving in. They're thinking about moving kids to schools. They're thinking about finding the new grocery store that they've got to go to, right? So get them when they're the most happy and excited, right? It'd be the same thing as if at the end I didn't have my review QR code on there and then I emailed everybody a week from now. Like it's going to drop in terms of the rate of people that would leave me a review. It's the same concept for all of us at closing. So try to take advantage of when your clients are the most excited about your service. And that's usually clear to close and then at the closing table.
Beautiful, man. Bobby, you were lit it up this morning. So grateful for you, my friend. Guys, I hope you took some action items. Again, this will be on YouTube and stuff a little bit later today after we download the recording and stuff. We will have all of the links and stuff that are included, from the checklist to the 5-star Google review to the book now option and stuff, in case you're driving, in case you missed anything here. I hope that you got as much value out of this as I did. And this is just the start of a relationship and stuff with Bobby. We'll get him back here, after a few months, because again, it's constantly changing and we have to constantly change as well. So Bobby, I appreciate you. Group, I appreciate you guys so much. Go out there and crush it this week. And if you need anything, make sure that you reach out, call, text, or email me. We'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great day,
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.